Lucy, what's up? I just saw your note there. Congratulations on the momentum.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. And we have a couple guests joining us here. But yeah, I know you're, munching on a few things there. We'll ask, like, what was the shift for you? What happened where it was like, hey, before we were at a place where obviously it felt like a lot of work, it felt like you were doing a lot, and now you're like, okay, we did it, and you feel proud of yourself and stuff like that. And hey, Nora, what's up? Welcome, welcome.
I think it was just like keeping it simple in my head. I think that's what made the difference is like, first of all, I know it has to be done. It's a huge priority. It is January 20th, so
Yes.
it's 11 days left or 10 days left to the month. And so I'm kind of like at this point where like it doesn't matter what I've got going on, it has to be done. And Um, just keeping it super simple. I allowed myself to say, hey, if all I'm going to say is hi name, that's okay.
Yes, yes,
And so
yes.
for some of them at first, I was just doing hi name. And then I was like, I could like do what is it, the 9-word question. So then
Mm-hmm.
I started doing hi name, are you still looking to lose weight? And so we'll see. I haven't checked back. I've been in meetings, so I haven't checked back to see how it went, but it felt good to just get it done and like to connect with the people that are in my community. That is what I want. I
Yes.
feel good to connect with them, whatever
Yes,
they
yes,
decide to
yes.
do.
Yeah, and that's the big thing. And Nora, we'll hear from you in a second in terms of, maybe some of the things you're working on and some questions there. But that is literally the shift, guys. It's like taking this whole concept of work and outreach and sales and marketing and saying, wait, hold on a second. Let's keep the main thing the main thing. Aren't we just here
Right.
to help others? Aren't we just here to like serve and mentor and guide? And the answer is yes,
Exactly.
right? And it just facilitates the whole thing. I'm getting chills thinking about that. So, yeah, Nora asked, Lucy there, if you can share a little bit more about that, the 9-word email. It's usually something quick, like, "Hey, are you still interested in X, Y, and Z?" But if you can share a little bit more.
That's it. Is just like you could even do that as a generic email that to your email list. Hi name, are
Yes.
you still looking for blah blah blah, whatever you help them with. But for me, I was just going through my school community and just sending that. And I did tailor it. So I did spend a little time like scrolling back and seeing, oh, they're looking for reducing inflammation. So then I would say, are you still working on reducing inflammation? Most of them were weight loss. And for the people that hadn't even answered me, I figure I'm just going to say weight loss anyway because they joined a weight loss group.
Right,
So
right,
I just still said, hey, Neem, are you still looking to lose weight? And it's an easy
right.
question because then they can just be like, yeah, because if they're in my group, they
Yes.
probably are. And then it can start a
Yeah.
conversation or re-engage. These were all people that I'd had at least a minimal amount of conversation with before. So
Mhm. And
yeah.
by the way, Nora, that's the power of like very clear and tangible messaging, which is what you and I were talking about the other day. Right. So I think for you, Lucy, that was it, right? It's just getting very clear on the mindset, on the messaging, and then just the tactical. Well, so we're gonna come back to you, any questions you might have beyond that. But Nora, yeah, just to introduce yourself. We have people coming in here in a little bit and then watching the recording. But if you can share a little bit more about you, what you do, and maybe your website there, what you have in your name. But yeah, welcome to the crew.
Oh, you're still muted.
Thank you. Hi.
Hi.
Hi, Lucy. It's good to hear you speak and meet you. And hi, Louis. It's good to be here. My name is Nora. I am a conscious intimacy coach. The core of my work is sexological body work, but in the context of us here working online, I offer support with intimate matters. And the reason that I showed up today, besides the fact that I just reconnected with Louis, is that I am launching in 8 days a program with alongside three other brilliant facilitators that we call Cosmic Mother.
Mm,
It's a pretty easy to join program that lasts 28 days. So we have basically a live 90-minute session on
hmm.
Wednesday in 8 days. And then everything is transmitted through our WhatsApp channel. And then we have another session. And those sessions are very particular. They're intimate. They actually encourage participants to bring an intention to hold as they relax into self-love and self-pleasure. So we're offering something that is new to us. Of course, my mentors have teach about this very unique practice, but I've never seen it offered in this way. We made it so that it's pretty easy to join. It's not too
Yeah.
costly. It was 60 for early bird. It's 90 at this point. And it's a month-long support with 4 different facilitators. We each have our core strength around this. And
Mm,
I'm doing the guidance of the actual practice itself. And so I decided to hop on this call because I am in the middle of writing out invitations to send to my WhatsApp
yes.
groups, right? So I have direct invitations, but I also have group WhatsApp groups that have been a great source for leads, in fact,
Yeah.
groups of women. And I'm in the weeds of the words and of this invitation. Of course, I started that process a few weeks ago, but we usually like invite them by waves, like a message a week.
Hmm.
And so I thought, hey, why don't I come and run my current process here and see
Yes.
what's what good wisdom I can get from
Yeah.
the
No.
or the community.
Absolutely love that. And by the way, feel free to share, especially, Lucy, Nora, everybody here on the recording as well. Any events, any sort of activities, workshops, webinars, share them inside of the group. Why? Because I'm very open to that. I know a lot of other places are like, well, don't spam the group or don't pitch, but it's like, listen, we're here to help others. We're here to encourage like business, right? Let's just be honest. And so that's the whole goal. Yeah, thank you for that. It's just, put yourself out there. And again, that's the whole goal is serving, right? So we don't need to feel weird about like, oh, like posting or I'm, promoting my stuff. Obviously always frame it in the lens of like, hey, I'm here to serve, I'm here to give, which is what we're doing. And so I encourage everybody on the recording as well to let us know what are you guys working on, and then from there we'll be able to give some guidance and some feedback and advice if anything at all. But yeah, Nora, we're gonna come back to you, with any questions, anything you want to share. If you want to share your screen or whatever, we can jam out. But Lucy, back to you. Through this outbound flow, through your activity, what has come up, whether it's the mindset, maybe any sort of blocks or hesitations, or any sort of tactical piece around messaging, positioning, and ultimately conversion.
Um, let's see. Nothing. There were questions that I had that I'm blanking. I should have written them down. But I do have a question. So, as far as like the outreach, I'm hoping that that's going to trigger enough conversation because I have my 5-day no sugar challenge coming up on February 1st.
Hmm.
So I'm hoping to just like be in conversation with everybody so that it's easy to then say,
Yes.
hey, I've got this thing happening. Do you want to join? And then the real question though that I had is a woman that I had mentioned to you before.
Oh,
She
yes.
called me out of the blue and I sold her the $300
Did
2 week
you?
package.
Yeah.
So today was our first meeting and
Well, hold on a second. That's big. Like, I want to honor you for that. That's really, really good because for many reasons, right? But I want to honor you for that, and sometimes we have these small wins, right? But then we kind of like
yeah.
gloss over them. So congrats. Now go on. Like what came from
Well,
that or
I
what
think
question?
I might have not done what I should have done because so she had called me out of the blue, and so I didn't want to do the whole sales call thing. I just wanted
Mm,
to make the sale. And instead of
mm,
like, because I knew she contacted another dietitian at the same time. And so I was like, it sounds like this is your challenge. And so, I offer this would be a great place to start. And so she was all on board. Well, then today was our first meeting of this 2-week package. And she was definitely kind of like, I made a quick decision. I'm not quite sure what's even included in this. And so, oh, $300 only for 2 weeks, blah, blah, blah. So I delivered fully because I think my sessions are pretty really good. And so we had our 90-minute session. She ended the session feeling really good. I asked her, how does she
yes.
feel about our session today now? And I think she got a lot of value out of it and it was great. But now my job is to sell her on the rest of the package. So I'm a little worried because she was kind of like, I can't believe I spent $300 on 2 weeks and I'm about to like offer her a $2,000 package.
I understand.
So I'm like,
I hear you. So
what?
yeah, so that's good. By the way, like whenever people bring that up, you want to deploy this notion of what's called normalize, right? And you guys might have an idea of what this means. It means when somebody tells you something, you let them know, hey, I understand that's normal. Hey, I understand that's I mean, you want to be careful with the word common, but like, right? Like, because then you want to hint, you don't want to hint that that's common, but it's like, hey, that's normal. Or hey, listen, I understand this is something new. This is something that is stretching you. Okay. So first you normalize to do what? To help them ease their own concerns. Sometimes it really just is their own mind, right? It's their own like thought process. It's not even anything else. So you normalize it. Hey, listen, that's normal. No worries at all. I mean, obviously, this is something new. Obviously, you're stretching yourself. So then you pivot into the next piece, which is remind them or help them remind themselves why they joined in the first place. So
Mhm.
normalize, you go, yeah, no worries. And so, for example, when you start your next session, you start with this, like, Jenny or whatever, like, hey, Jenny, first of all, I want to start the session by saying, like, I appreciate you being open and honest about how you were feeling the other day. And by the way, I just want to let you know that's normal. Like you're starting something new. Obviously, you've been trying to hit this goal for a very long time. And so, just so that we're on the same page, remind me, what's your big why? What's your big reason, or what's really motivating you to even want to, insert their goal? Reduce
Mhm.
inflammation, increase digestion, right? Like all the key words for you.
Yeah.
Start with that, because then what happens is that actually gets their own nervous system in a place where it's relaxed, and it increases their
Mhm.
their own certainty just by giving them the space to express themselves and say, like, okay, yeah, that's true. I'm doing this for these reasons. Like, what was I thinking? And a lot of times it just comes down to fear, or they told their
Mhm.
their significant other, or a friend, and then the
Yeah.
significant other or the friend's doubt like seeped into their mind, you see.
Yeah.
So is that helpful for you?
Yeah, yes, totally. So the next session so she's got the one more session. So we're gonna
Yes.
start with that for sure. I can reinforce that because we went deep
Yes.
into her why during today's session. And so reinforce that. And then what I was gonna, well, so the reason why I feel like maybe I shouldn't have done it the way I had done it was because
Mm,
we were starting this session without having done a full sales call, which
mm,
meant that I hadn't dug into the why now,
yeah.
the cost of inaction and like
Yeah.
her vision. And like I hadn't done any of that. So I incorporated some of it into today's session,
Mm,
but it felt harder. I was kind of like, oh my gosh, I now have a bigger hill to climb
mm,
because I took a shortcut and now
mm-hmm,
I may end up with only $300 when before I could have ended up with a $2,000 sale
mm-hmm.
or not, or zero,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, but
I
was the
hear you.
300 worth giving up the 2,000, the
I hear
chance
you.
at it?
So I'm going to deploy the strategy on you. Lucy, what you're feeling is normal. Everybody goes through that, especially when they're in a season where they're just trying to really build massive momentum. And that's true for you,
Yeah,
right? Like that's
yeah,
the truth, right? The
Yeah.
good thing about what you're going through now is that you're actually pushing your limits of what used to be possible, isn't it? Like you're actually
Yeah.
stretching yourself. Like you're doing hard things. You're outbounding, you're like
Yeah.
enrolling people, you're like challenging them. So remind me, what was your big reason for why you decided to enroll this awesome lady? Like why did you do that?
The $300 thing, I was
Yes.
afraid that by booking the sales call and not doing anything right then, she was going to end up going with the other dietitian, and I was afraid I'd lose her. And I felt like, oh, I'll just get her into the 2 week thing and then sell her on the big package.
Uh-huh. And
It,
ultimately, what was the reason behind that? Like what really inspired you to just take action and do it? Like what was it?
well, I knew I could help her.
Exactly. Right. So
Yeah.
let me ask you, is that important for you? Do you really want to help this lady?
Yeah, for
You
sure.
do,
I
right?
definitely can. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And so do you feel like if you get her to a place where she reminds herself of her big why, right? And she's seeing progress and momentum, is it possible? Is it possible that she can see the value of this next level? Is that a possibility?
Yes. Yes, for
That's
sure.
right. There you go. So that's your um example of how you deploy that with the intention of pure clarity for you, Lucy. Same idea for your client.
Yep. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. And then I was also going to give her, the $300 would apply towards the
Of course. Yeah.
package, and then,
Yeah.
yeah.
And by the way, what I'm thinking with her, um, so obviously go through the second session, but I'm thinking like you set up another call and you would call that a bridge session. You would frame it as a bridge session, right? Bridge in terms of what? After you go through that second session, say, all right, awesome, Jenny, it was a pleasure serving you. What we do next, so you like say it with certainty, like what we do next from here is we set up a bridge session. That bridge session is going to help you really integrate everything you've learned thus far to ensure that you actually keep building momentum so that you bridge yourself to your goal or whatever her goal is. Okay. So, all right, awesome, Jenny. So, what we do now is, first of all, congrats on the progress the last 2 weeks. But what we do from here is we're going to set up a bridge session. In that session, we're going to recap everything you've learned, but more importantly, we're going to help you keep building momentum towards your goal of this, this, and that. Okay. So, let's pull up the calendar. What does that look like? Boom, you schedule it. In that bridge session, what you're going to do next is get back into this yeah, I guess you could call it. I mean, it's funny, right? Like I talk about mindset. I almost don't like calling them sales calls because I like to think about the end goal, which is the enrollment, which is the like getting them in, right? Or the sale, I guess you
Mm,
can. I like, so it's like, yes, it is an enrollment session, but also it gives her a chance to really it's just the space, right? You're giving this person the space to say, okay, awesome. So on this session, let's go back to like, what have you learned? How are you shifting? What are your wins? Then you get into their challenges. What are things you're still like naturally, right? It's been 2 weeks. What are you still struggling with? Okay. What is that going to do, guys? It's going to open her up to a solution. Go into her
mm.
wins, go into her challenges. That should be 15 minutes in this 30-minute session. The remaining 15 minutes is like, okay, great. So I'm curious, Jenny, are you open to exploring the next level? The next level, right? In this journey of yours, in this roadmap.
Okay,
Okay.
got it.
So then naturally that's the beautiful thing about this. That's going to just give her pure clarity and alignment. So you don't have to feel like you're selling her. You're literally just, hey, let's recap your wins. Let's recap your challenges. By the way, are you open to exploring the next level? She may say no. Cool. What does that do for you? Hey, you served her, you helped
Yeah,
her, you got the $300 versus zero, right?
yeah,
If she says yes, but okay, cool. She has objections, handle them, right? With the
yeah,
frameworks we've been learning, right?
yeah,
She may need another session, just kind of keep in mind, or that call may go to 60 minutes, right? So just
yeah.
keep that in mind. But beyond that, if she's on the fence, find out what's coming up for her, money aside. You know what I mean? At that point, is you just go through the process.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
That feels good. Yes. Thank you.
Perfect. Perfect. Awesome, Nora. So your turn. I know you've got a few things there, maybe some emails or some templates, but yeah, if you want to go ahead and share a little bit about kind of what's going on, and then we'll give some feedback advice. And you're muted.
Appreciate the heads up. Yeah, actually, I could share my screen, but maybe I'm gonna just be hyper focused to the the task at hand, which is basically I've never yet messaged on WhatsApp through this new WhatsApp business number that I have. So I just set up my WhatsApp business number, and I've uh, added myself to specific groups of women that are part of two collectives that I'm a part of. And there it's worldwide. So on my personal number, I've been in those groups for a while, but I joined different cities through my WhatsApp number. And I'm just in the process for the first time of creating like a small message that I can share on there that gives them an invite, like an easy invite to this program that we are hosting. And maybe you do have some some suggestions on how to do this. So I'll first
Yeah.
begin by sharing just the page of this program that we're offering. And again, there's probably things we could change on there, but this is just more for context for you. This is what we can send them either to this landing page that presents us and describes the genesis of this offering and has some frequently asked questions. Now, we tend to most of the time actually send people directly to the Luma event that we have set up, just because there's all these perks with tracking the UTM source. At least that's
Yeah.
how we've been doing it so far. So right now I have this Luma link in the message that I'm working with. I'm sorry, I'm sharing literally everything with you, but the yeah, those are the groups that I'm about to write to. So this women's collective is called Hermanas, Sisters. And I would just change the time zones at when it happens for them. And we send them this, I think, this little blurb, right? Like when I write to my communities, some of them are longer because I know the people and I give a bit more information. But yeah, I'm in just in this moment where I have about 10 more groups to send
Yeah.
it to. And yeah, I'm open to any thoughts.
I love it. I love it. So we've got a couple people joining here. What's going on, brother? Go ahead and turn your camera on if you'd like, but we're going through some feedback and then we'll call on you next here. But so okay, so the biggest thing when it comes to these things is always thinking about the other person in the sense of like, what's in it for me? Is there a big question, right? It's like, what's in it for me? So usually what we want to do is really hyper focus on the results, right? The result. Now, the challenge with something like that for this, because this naturally we're leaning heavily on the fact that it's like an opening ceremony. So it's very process driven versus results driven, right? So then what we have to do is really bridge that gap between process to the outcome. So let's go in here. So you see, so you see right there, Cosmic is a 4 week, right? So we're talking about the process where one specific vision
Yeah.
is carried from, so this is good, right? This is not bad. What we want to do is as quickly as possible, your vision may be protected. This is a space at the cusp of birthing.
Maybe a
Well, we
project. It may be a it may be a project. So the idea is actually to work on a project, an event, a relationship, a home, right?
mhm.
And it's
Here's
basically
the questions.
manifestation. Yeah.
Yes. The question there is working on the project so that they can what? So that they can, what's the result you think? So that they can
Well, bring it into form.
so
From
that once
imagination into form.
so once they bring it into form, then what's that second or third order consequence? Like positive thing, like what they bring it into form and then what happens?
Uh, actualize their reason for being on Earth.
Okay, so we would call that so that they can reach their goal, so that they can, what's the thing? Like, what's the result? Like, you think,
Yeah. Yeah, so I mean, there are two layers, and actually, it might be worth for me to state it here. So this is really a practice of manifestation, but supercharged with a hypnotic state
oh, okay.
of relaxation and pleasure. So
Mm,
there are two outcomes to it. One is actually getting clarity on what you want to create
there
in
we
your life,
go.
and then
There we
doing
go.
it. The second part is a lot of people come into this space as well because they want to have a healthier relationship with their intimacy.
Yes, there we go. Yeah, there we go. So that's what we want to lead with, right? So in the first couple sentences, no worries. You can talk about the process and because here's the thing, right? There's two perspectives. Our perspective as the host, as the business owner, the brand, and then there's a perspective of the receiving end, the attendee, the person on the other end, seeing the screen, seeing the landing page. Usually, what tends to happen is that obviously, because we're focused on our goals and putting this thing together, we will frame everything in our perspective, you know?
Yeah.
So, what we want to shift now is a layer, add a layer into, hey, hermana, this is what's in it for you. This is what you get. This is, yeah, right there, problem solved. So let's read that really quickly. Giving meaning to life and feeling like a sexually liberated woman who has a health. There we go. So that's the result. Who has a healthy, like self pleasure
Soulful.
practice, for example, you know? So, healthy self. Yeah, yeah. But that's the outcome. So then in your landing page or in your copy, like bring that up as soon as possible so that they can know, okay, cool, there's this ceremony, but for what? Oh, well, for me to ultimately feel liberated and feel connected and feel whatever it is that you believe is going to really resonate with them. Do you see?
So what I have right now on those messages says it calls out the group that I'm in. Okay, super babes seeking to
Yeah.
cultivate an intentional self-pleasure practice
There we
in
go.
service to your
Yeah.
dreams.
There we go.
We're
That's
delighted to
great.
invite you
There we go. See,
to.
so I love the structure in this because you're leading with the outcome. And so on the website or on the landing page, if possible, do the same. Lead with the outcome and then tell them about the process. Yeah.
So right now it reads, it's a 4-week gestational portal where one specific vision is
Yes.
carried from imagination into form with pleasure and intention. But
Yeah.
that's not really direct enough. And
Well,
here we
no,
have,
because yeah, it's just that's just the process. That's saying, hey, over the next 4 weeks, we're gonna talk about your vision. It's like, okay, cool, and so that I can.
yeah, cultivate an intentional self-pleasure practice in service to your dream. That's the real thing, in fact.
There we go. So lead with that, and that shift alone is going to make a massive difference. Why? Because now they themselves are answering the question of what's in it for me. And a lot of the times that happens subconsciously. It's not like they're like, judging your website or anything. It's just like they're naturally asking, "Hey, Nora, this is amazing. I love it." And like why should I attend this beyond the fact that it's a ceremony, beyond the fact that it's, manifestation, like what would it do for me? Oh, it would help me cultivate this practice. What I would even change, right, in service to your dreams, like making it a little bit more like tangible in the sense of like cultivate an intentional self-pleasure practice so that you can manifest your dreams. Like using the words that they're already using would be a recommendation in that case. Yeah. Okay.
Okay, appreciate that a lot. Let's try this.
Yeah, let's do it. And I'm gonna butcher your name, but Mahendiran, welcome, brother, and Alusi as well. Thank you for being here and everybody on the recording. Drop in the chat if this is also helpful for you. If you're starting to understand in what areas in your webinar or your landing page, you can also be more direct and outcome driven. Awesome, beautiful. I see the thumbs up there. Okay. So beyond this, Nora, what else? What else might you be like working through as you're, getting very clear on the messaging and the positioning?
Right now, I what I'm working on is it good to just put that sentence right up, slap it at the front end of this description, and then leave the process underneath as I had it?
Yeah. Yeah. Fulfill dinner so you can manifest
Okay.
your dreams. Yeah. And
Actually,
yeah, so to Lucy's point right there, right, is it's the clarity piece from someone who's looking, yeah, from someone like from the outside looking in. There we go. It's that last piece, right? How do we make it make sense for them? See, that's the interesting piece, right? Because we're in our own world, right, Nora? Like this is your world. This is you love this, you get this. And when we're expressing it to everybody else who doesn't live it 24/7, they're asking like, I kind of get it, but what is this about? Like what do I
yeah,
do with
yeah, yeah.
this?
No,
So
I,
that's
I thank you, and I know this because sometimes I'm like working on something for a month, and then I'm like, wait, there's no mention of sex magic in here. Like,
yeah,
I like omitted the core piece, but it's also because
yes.
it's building on top of an event that we had before, which in my mind, everyone that we're inviting to this knows because we're building it on something else. But anyhow, it's very, very valuable for me
Mm,
um to have your eyes on it.
yes,
You
no,
can
for sure.
absolutely um go around the circle. I would love to hear the other friends if they have next steps. And I'm happy to think about what else I can ask before the end of the call. But I'm very
Yeah.
thankful for this already.
No, appreciate you showing up, and that's it. Just keep tuning in, and we're gonna keep helping out. So, yeah, Lucy, any other thoughts on her landing page, or even from your perspective, like being maybe kind of on the outside looking in? What are maybe a couple tweaks that we can keep refining, if anything?
I think when I first saw it, I definitely was not sure what it was. And it looked like my first thought, since I don't know you or your world or any of this at all, was it like birthing, like literal, I've had three
Yeah.
kids and so like I'm in the child world. So, I think I saw the word gestational and birth and mother. And so I absolutely thought it was something
There
birth
is a
related.
lot of mothers in there. Some of them, many are doing babies. Like it's conception, but at its largest sense. So some of them join because they're birthing a project. Some of them are actually making babies. It's a little bit of both.
Well, I think,
Women holding that. But thank you. I
yeah,
I do not see the
adding
problem.
that, adding that result was helped so much with the clarity. So, yeah.
You mean the starting off with this line rather than
Yes. Yes.
yeah.
The intentional self-pleasure practice so that you can manifest your dreams. Yes. That was, I think, definitely needed so that you can kind of understand what this is and who it's for and why.
Yeah, and even on that note, if we really wanted to be like strict in terms of the principles of messaging and positioning, we would actually swap out the word dreams for the thing, for their actual dream, right? We would say cultivate an intentional self-pressure pleasure practice so that you can create the business, create that six-figure, right? Whatever their dream is, like have your first child, like very specific and tangible. That will hit so much harder. But then also I understand that for you are addressing several like goals and types of people, it sounds like.
Yeah.
But that's the
And
power of
yet I do
intentionality.
appreciate this comment as well because you are really reminding me the power of joining people that are exactly on the same lane as you. Yeah.
Yes. Yes, yes, yes. And that's, scenario-based marketing really getting into the way I envision it, guys, is like whenever I see a word or a concept, I'm like, can I can I double click on that to go deeper? Can I like dig into that specific, like, what do you mean by dreams? What do you mean by practice? Or for something like Lucy, it's like, what do you mean like losing weight? What specifically are we talking about? And now we can get granular. Oh, well, losing weight through a more balanced approach because we're more focused on being nourished in our body instead of like chasing a fat diet. Okay, let's say that then, right? Let's talk about that. Right. But again, this is perfect because it's just a discovery process. And as you guys can see, it takes like co-creating to really dig in deeper. But perfect. Anything else? If not, then Mahendiran, if you can, drop your question in the chat. I know you don't have your camera on or your mic on, but yeah, we'd love for you to also, um get some advice, some feedback, whether it's around sales, objection handling, messaging, marketing, like anything like that. We would love to serve you. If not, then we'll loop over to Lucy. We'll give you a second there to drop any question in the chat. But thank you so much there, Nora. We'll loop back to you as well if we have some time. But yeah, if you can stop sharing the screen there, and then we'll head over to Lucy in just a second. As we wait for Mahendiran to share a little bit more. But yeah, go on, Lucy, if you can. I know we
Sure.
were also talking about your SOPs and really leaning on your, setter,
Yeah.
your husband, but anything else that we can really drive into?
Yes. So I was thinking, I've always had in my head like 10 days prior to your event, start marketing. I don't know if that's really accurate, but that would be basically Thursday, starting to
Mm,
like announce the no sugar challenge and do all that. So I guess the question is, best practices for my husband slash DM setter.
yeah.
Um, for like, so in the past, all we've done is like, hey, name, are you, feeling like sugar's taking over or whatever? I have this free event coming up. Would you like more details? And that's just what we start sending to everybody on Facebook.
Yeah. Okay.
But my
Okay.
goal, let me just insert my goal, is to get lots of people at this event.
Yes.
Much more than the last few. More like the first time when I ran it and I had 150 people sign up. And I did have them sign up the first time through a landing page.
Mm,
I don't do that anymore because it seems like an extra step that is unnecessary now that I run it through a school group.
hmm.
Open to feedback on that, but I don't know that it would
Yeah.
make sense to do a landing page.
Yeah, it all really stems from the context, right? Like, where are you reaching out from, and then what do they know already? And then from there you can craft the messaging. But for example, what I would highly recommend is leading with a quick question like, hey, Emily, or whatever the name, are you still are you still looking to, and then your outcome. Hey Emily, are you still looking to, you know, we could say lose weight because that actually is a really good hook, right? Just it's very basic, but it's what people want.
Yeah.
We could add a layer where it's niche, where it's like, hey, Emily, are you still looking to lose weight, but in a more balanced approach, or in a more, your niche better than I do. Lead with that. You put enter, space, space. If so, I would love to invite you. I would love to invite you to I would use the word powerful. Maybe you can use the word insightful or valuable or something, right? I would love to invite you to a powerful, um, you could say session or challenge. Session is much more doable. I'll be honest with you guys. Whenever we hear the words challenge and like all these, like it feels like, gosh, it's a whole thing that I have to commit to. So that's where you can just get them into the first session. You know what I mean? Like, hey, let's just get them
Yeah.
into that first thing, and then you can do either or, obviously test it if you want. If so, I'd love to invite you to a powerful session that's coming up on, whenever the start date is.
Okay. So So it's a challenge, so it's Monday through Friday, but the prep party is on Sunday. So should I just do the date of the prep party and use that as, so coming up on February 1st?
Yeah, I would. And here's where we really want to be extremely disciplined, especially your husband, so that on Wednesday or even Tuesday, you do a follow-up campaign with everybody you reached out to
Yeah.
let them know, hey, just wanted to let you know we are still running this powerful or this very useful, you know, challenge or whatever workshop. It's coming up tomorrow. Now, here's a new one that I've been working on, and it is more geared towards the masculine, for example, but I use the word, can I count on you to be there? So I'm holding them accountable. Can I count on you to be there? Right? Maybe for you, you can say something that aligns more for your audience,
Okay.
where it's more inspirational, right? We have this thing coming up. Would this be useful for you if you attended?
And should I use that for the initial
This would be for
message?
follow-up.
That
This
would be
would
the
be for follow-up.
follow-up. Okay.
Yeah. So you're
Okay.
inviting all of them like 10 days before,
Yeah.
do a round of that. You could even use it as the second round. So let's say maybe 3 days after. But I'm saying on that Wednesday on that Wednesday before the actual big like workshop, do another round,
Okay.
okay, where you like do another full follow-up to remind people, hey, by the way, this is still going on. Would it be useful for you? Would you find it beneficial? If so, I'd love to see you there. I'd love to connect with you. I'd love to serve you. And when we
Okay.
really zoom out, and this for everybody, Nora and Mahindran and everybody on the recording, always look to frame the conversation, frame the messaging in their best interest. Because again, like we obviously have value, but it's not about us. We have to frame it in what's in it for them.
Yeah. Yeah, I've been working on that
Yes.
reframe. Okay. All right. So that's basically all that we will be focusing on between now
Yes.
and then. It's just outreach, and then the follow-up. And I haven't been going into other groups to do this, but I probably should
Yeah.
add
What
that.
I would love to do with you is get very organized with even like a spreadsheet, like even just having something where it's very clear on who we're reaching out to and taking that extra 30 seconds to copy and paste their name and their email in a spreadsheet or in your CRM,
Yeah.
to like actually know, did we message them, like and we can co-create that, like 3 rows: first outbound, second outbound, third outbound, the result, where are they at, any notes, because to your point, yeah, like at this point we got to go all in and we got to be
Right.
very, very disciplined in it.
So that's not too bad because I use a CRM in Facebook called Group Track. And so it's very
Perfect.
easy to just set up the tags with,
There we go.
follow up number 1, 2, 3 and keep track. So yeah,
Okay, that's gonna
hubby
be, yeah.
can do that.
Yes, yes. And also making space on the calendar so that he has that like already preset,
Yeah.
like very, very organized. That's going to be the biggest game changer for you. Is just, the SOPs we created, like executing them on your guys' calendar.
Yes. And he has the time. That is like
Yeah.
what his time is for.
Yes.
It's that I need to be clear about what the message is because he doesn't want to
Mm-hmm.
try and come up with the correct messaging.
Yes.
So I need to just let him know exactly 10 days before, this is what you're going to
Mm-hmm.
say.
Yeah.
Then 3 days later, this is what you're going to say. Those SOPs, the
Yeah. Yeah.
details.
Yeah. Yeah. This SOP, like literally we would call that the flow, the sequence. When and what do I say at what point?
Yes, like an algorithm.
Yeah, like, and then it's a no-brainer for him. He takes it, boom, plugs it
Yeah.
in, just gets it done.
Yep.
All
Okay.
right,
This is really helpful. Thank you.
beautiful, awesome. Mahindran, if you can, go ahead and share your question. You don't have to, come on camera or anything like that, but go ahead and share a little bit more about what you're working on and how we can support you.
Thank you so much, Luis. Thank you for the surprise call. I just saw that
Yes,
this morning. I thought, okay, let me jump in. Cool.
absolutely.
Yeah, actually, I have been in my situation is a little different because I'm still in my 9 to 5 hustle and also building my coaching profession with building something on financial services. So this is a kind of triangular love right now I am in. I have a real good organic reach around 10,000 plus members, and in different social media, I think it will count more. I'm just trying to see that how I can relaunch myself. Of course, I was doing it then because of the job or other situations. I took a pause and again, but I want to stay and play a consistent game and make a power relaunch, and go unstoppable. So one challenge I have that also is kind of not attracting. When you said about the CRM, I don't have any proper CRM. So I do have the webinar registrants or different people who took different challenges and things like that. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
then the contacts are everywhere. It's not in any particular.
Yeah,
So you have any thought suggestion around how I can just pull together and
yeah.
take my ride, really unstoppable ride.
I know, brother. No, for sure. Well, first of all, congrats, right? Congrats on having that vision and holding on to that vision firmly. Because let's be honest, right? There's a lot of distractions. Some of them are positive, right? Sometimes it's the work or it's our family or it's our hobbies, and it's a positive thing, but it's also naturally a distraction from actually doing the work. So
Yeah.
that's first. And by the way, Jeff, welcome, brother. I know that we recently connected, so happy to see you on here, man. We're just jamming out, answering some questions. If you have any questions around objection handling, messaging, positioning, anything like that, man, would love to serve you. But so for you, yes, Mahindaran, what I'd love to do is I'll send you a couple of resources in terms of different CRMs for you to consider. Let me
Yeah.
clarify this though. So right now, when you really zoom out, when you really take a big step back and you look at your project and growing it and becoming unstoppable, like you mentioned, what do
Mhm.
you feel, if anything, has been like keeping you from actually like dedicating the space and the time for it? What has been keeping you?
Like I said, so I've been my time, attention, focus is getting into this tri-way loops, right? So one is the 9 to 5, another one is my financial career
Yeah,
related, and then this coaching. In long run, I wanted to take this coaching as a 24/7, all 365 days across my
yeah.
time mission. But till I get my finance and other things set up, I mean, I want to just play rest of the other two areas.
I know, man. I hear you.
Or I have to see how I can integrate all three. It's not separate, but it's all,
Yeah.
yeah.
Here's what I would recommend, and this is what I was sharing also with Lucy and with everybody, just this idea of like your calendar, really looking at your calendar and being honest with yourself, like
Hmm.
let's track like what time am I waking up? Can I wake up 30 minutes before? And then eventually 1 hour before. So let me ask you, Mahindran, and no wrong answer, but what time do you generally wake up?
Oh, I wake up around 5:30 in the morning.
Okay, perfect. There you go. So you're already like in the 5 a.m. club. What I
Oh,
would challenge you is, can you in the next 15 days uh practice waking up at 5:15, 5:30 or 5 a.m. Why? Well, it gives you 20, 30 minutes to at least do something and build momentum. Lucy gave a beautiful example, and it's in the community as well, of the power of momentum. Literally just like I mean, you can read it, but it's just like, okay, cool, let's do something, let's send it out, let's just send a message that says, hi, how are you, or hey, let's connect, right? But doing something is better than obviously doing zero. So that's number one. Now the other thing is, during your lunchtime, Usually, do you take an hour lunchtime? Is it 30 minutes, or how does that generally work for you?
Yeah, I have a real good flexibility because right now I am in between my project also. So I
Okay,
have a quite a good time now. So I want to
there
see
we go.
and really give the maximum throughput. Yeah.
Yeah, there we go, brother. And so the last part of the day is usually after work, right after 5 p.m. What I would recommend is at least for 1 hour from
Mm.
6 to 7. Because by the way, a lot of us we have children, we have spouse, right, significant other, and we don't have to get that with into the details with you. But if that's the case, then all we need to do, which I've done, and I'm sure Lucy has done, and everybody is like, we just communicate, hey, listen, here's the initiative, right? Like, I would love your support. What do you think? If she's or if whatever they're saying, no, like we want to hang out more or whatever, then obviously you would co-create that. But at the least, man, if possible, here's a minimum viable standard: 30
Uh-huh.
minutes in the morning, 30 minutes at lunch, 30 minutes at the end of the day, like 5, 6, 7 p.m.
Mhm.
Why? Because now we're engaging the compounding effect. What does that mean? Now we have 90 minutes every day, let's say for 5 days a week. What's the math on that?
Wow. Mm.
You know what I mean? Like, what's the math on 90 minutes every weekday? That's 450 minutes, correct?
Yeah.
Extrapolate that out over the next month times that four. Now a thousand like minutes worked on this, right?
Yeah.
Extrapolate that out to the next 3 months, 5,000 minutes, divide that by 60 for us to get an hour. That's 90 hours worked on your project consistently, brother. So that's the key for you is how do we get, and for all of us, let's be honest, right? Nora and Jeff and all of us, as we're working on these projects, how do we start to reach a level of consistency? And by the way, right, I'll be the first one to put my hand up. It's not going to be perfect. We're going to miss mornings and afternoons. But what's the intention now? Consistency to build momentum. So is that helpful for you as to kind of like a structure, a framework to lean on?
Yeah. Definitely can be.
Okay, wonderful. And what was your takeaway from that? I'm curious.
Yeah. I mean, rather thinking that, yeah, I mean, putting 2, 3 hours just to start small but still stay consistent, and then divide and rule between morning, afternoon, evening, and I can do a little stretch of getting up early. Just again, that also tells that I have to go to bed early. That's other thing too. And again, it's not just about the 90 minutes, but what I do with the 90 minutes also definitely matters.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's the next question, right? That's more of the content, but for now we're talking about the context, the structure that you can lean on.
Mm.
Um, because and then look, I'm gonna go a layer deeper with you because
Yeah.
if you don't do that, and it's another month, another 3 months, what would be the consequence? What would you miss out on ultimately for you?
Oh, then we'll end up staying the same place or even further down. It's very important because the time is limited. Need to take action and then keep going. And I'm sure, like being in the serving field, the more I delay, I think so many people whom I have the opportunity to serve or the cash flow
Um,
I can create, I think everything would be impacted if I don't take action. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. That's right.
Yeah, the
And ultimate,
constant.
yeah, right. So this is the consequence that it's just real though, right? It's like it's a truth.
That's right. Yeah, that's
And
reality.
and watch this. Here's the other piece. Who would you need to become? Who would you need to be to avoid that scenario where you're missing out on the impact, the cash flow, your business growth? Who would you need to become?
Yeah, that's the other question. If you may please share some insights around creating a new identity, right? Uh,
Yes,
been a challenge for me because still that old identity or the existing comfort zone identity keeps
exactly.
and I'm sure, like, I had to like triple or 5x, 10x my efforts or momentum, but
Your efforts.
how I can really do it, because
Yeah.
sometimes theoretically I can understand, yes, I need to create a new identity or a new wealth consciousness and all those things. But how I can, because
Yeah.
I was not really charging people for my services, or I had a limitation in asking people comfortably for my
Yeah.
things. But
That's right.
now it's so very important, and I have reached the point where it is non-negotiable. It's not even
Yeah.
a,
Well, let's call on a few of the members here because they and myself included, we've all gone through that shift, right? And I'll call on Lucy in a second because earlier this year, or at the end of 2025, her and her husband made a decision. Write
Mhm.
that word down, decision.
Yeah.
Make a decision
Hmm.
that you must, that you will,
Yeah.
whatever it is that you want to do, right? Because if we don't make a decision, ultimately, what happens?
Well, yeah. I mean, it's a non-negotiable for
Yeah.
sure. Non-negotiable. Yeah.
Okay, so Lucy, for you, what decision from that framework, what decision did you make?
I mean, when my husband stopped working and decided, I mean, we just cannot deal with working for someone. Neither one of us. We just don't have the capacity to work for an employer. And so we decided we would just do whatever it takes to for my business to be our main income source. And so that's what we did.
That's right. And then Nora, if you can share your experience and your journey, what decision did you make back then or recently that caused you to say, like, we're doing this? Like, what was it? What decision did you make?
I have to say it knocked on my door, because I was holding a full-time job that granted me my green card, um, in New York, and through that decade, the vocation grew on me. But first, it was just for me. I didn't think I was gonna be a practitioner. However, people send me people, and I was just trying to work with people on the weekends, and then the pandemic hit, and I had my green card, and the work that I had been doing anyway was shut down because it was in the hospitality industry. And so I found myself with this underground vocation during the pandemic, and an easy pivot online with a friend, with a colleague of mine, who created a platform where people like me were helping, guiding people who were stuck at home and having intimacy problems. And so it just started through this platform. And I realized, wow, my time is so well spent and it's so needed. And from that point on, I just never went back to graphic design for the
Yeah.
hospitality industry. Just did that.
Beautiful, right? So let's end on that note, just to be respectful of the time here. That's it, right? Mahindaran is we make a decision because for Lucy, it was, well, actually, let's go with Nora. It was, she was moving towards her vocation, her passion. For Lucy, she's moving away from working with someone else, for someone else, like all these other reasons. For you and for me, it's the same idea. It's like I want to move away from like being dependent on maybe a company or some sort of thing that I have to like be a part of. I want to move away from that. But maybe for you, Mahendran, is you want to move towards something, towards impact, towards a new business. Journal on that, and then we'll end on that note. But thank you guys all for showing up. We'll see you next week, same time, same place, same link, and then we'll load up the recording in the school community. Okay.
Thank
Thank
you.
you guys.
Thank
Take
you,
care.
Louis.
Cheers.
Thank you
Visit
so
you. Bye.